I'm Carol Williams, and you're listening to Immigrant Entrepreneurs Making It Happen. In this podcast, we're chatting with immigrant entrepreneurs and peeling back the layers to discover how their unique perspectives influence their business decisions. So kick back, relax, and let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Immigrant Entrepreneurs Making It Happen. And today I am very excited to talk to another attorney. Again, I'm an attorney, so I know lots of attorneys, but I'm super excited to talk to LA Perkins. She is an attorney here in Florida. So let me tell you a little bit about LA. I'm going to give you sort of a really big overview, and then we're going to dive into her immigrant story and her entrepreneur story and see how the two of those mix. So Leanne, or LA, as we all like to call her, Perkins, is a top-rated brand protection attorney, aka an intellectual property attorney and trademark attorney in the state of Florida, where she has been a member of the Florida Bar since 1996 and has served as the president of the South Palm Beach County Bar Association. She is the founder and CEO of LA Perkins Law Firm, PLLC, doing business as Perkins Law Brand Protection, which was founded in 2013 following her experience as a partner in two highly regarded law firms. LA has represented an array of clients ranging from your individual all the way to Fortune 100 companies in various industries, and has successfully litigated intellectual property cases in both federal and state courts, including jury trials. LA focuses her practice on helping innovative, visionary business owners and executives and entrepreneurs identify and protect their intellectual property assets, maintain their intellectual property assets, and enforce their rights when necessary. She is passionate about guiding her clients in the selection of their brands and securing their brand assets so they can build their businesses on a solid foundation with peace of mind positioned for success. LA is 110% committed to making a difference. And LA is originally from South Africa. So LA, thank you so much for coming and chatting with me today. I'm super excited to have you.
Thank you so much, Carol. I'm super excited to be here, and thank you for the opportunity. I love what you're doing with the podcast and the immigrant entrepreneurs. I just love it. So kudos to you.
Thank you. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you. You and I talk fairly often, but we've never really talked about our entrepreneurial journey and your immigrant journey. So give us a little bit of background in terms of how you wound up in the US. How did that happen?
Oh, I love this story. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share. So, I'm originally from South Africa, and my parents, I immigrated with my parents in 1977. It was January 1977, except they didn't tell us that we were immigrating to the United States.
Wow.
Looking back now at all the changes and the selling and the things that were going on, I guess I should have, if I knew more then, I would have put it together. But they basically said we were going on a vacation.
Really?
Yeah, because it was illegal to leave South Africa at the time.
Oh.
And they were, I think, concerned that my brother, who was younger than me, in 1977, at the time we immigrated, I was 7 years old. It was just before my 8th birthday.
Okay.
And they were concerned that maybe we would slip up and say something that could cause a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up staying with a very distant relative on Miami Beach when we first got here. And I'll never forget it. My dad took my brother and I to the beach one day, and he looked at us and he's like, "Do you like it here? Like, isn't this place great?"
Wow.
And we were like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, how would you like to stay?"
Oh my goodness.
So that was kind of how I found out, like, ultimately. And let me just back up for a second. The relative that we were staying with Her name was B. Robbins. Okay.
Okay.
Um, she said to my mom one day, "Don't you think we should register them in school?" And I was like, "Mom, what is she talking
Mm.
about? We were on vacation."
Ah.
So my story, I guess, yeah, to answer your question, like the initial immigration part. I can say a whole lot more about that because it was tough. So, you know, yeah.
Wow. I can't even imagine going somewhere for what I think is a vacation and then oops, we're living here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess,
That's
I
really
haven't really psychoanalyzed myself, but I suspect I probably have some trust issues related to that experience.
no. You don't no, Ella, you don't have trust issues, you have love of vacation issues, and that's not really an issue.
Like when I'm on vacation, don't ask me to do
Right,
anything, okay?
right. Life is just a perpetual vacation. I'm still on vacation. I love that. So what was it like going to school all of a sudden? Like you weren't near your friends, what was that like?
It was a challenge because here's the thing, because we were illegal
Mhm.
immigrants, essentially, we didn't have papers. I don't know. Unfortunately, my parents are deceased now. So some of the questions, that maybe I would ask for clarification, I don't have the ability to ask.
Okay.
But my um, I couldn't go to public school, I guess, because we didn't have papers to put me in public school. So my parents put
Mm.
me in a private school, and it was a private school on Miami Beach that was a Jewish private school.
Okay.
And, they had made a deal, like some payment, because we were immigrants. My dad did, it wasn't like there was a ton of money, but made some sort of deal, like to pay out the tuition. Um, Most of the day was in Hebrew, though, and
Oh.
it was really challenging. So for me, like being, starting in that school, but that is when I very rapidly lost my South African accent
Okay.
because what
Okay.
happened was kids that I were, they would make fun of me.
Mm.
I came into second grade, and unfortunately, when you're in second grade, you don't want to be different. I wanted to fit in.
Right.
So very rapidly, I lost my accent, and
Okay.
that's how it all started.
Wow. Wow. So I know now that you came in very, very young, thought you were just here on vacation.
Okay.
Fast forward when, and I don't know if you've ever looked back, but we're going to look back today. When you look back from that initial coming over, truly, truly just coming to hang out on vacation to where you are now, how did that process, that journey, shape your perspective on being a business owner? Did you even want to be a business owner? Was that even something you ever thought of?
100%. And I think all of those
Oh,
experiences shaped like me dramatically. And I have a few things to share about that. So when we came over, my dad started a business here. And I believe that was how we actually were able to establish our residency
okay.
and ultimately get our citizenship. So I watched my dad go through the trials and tribulations of a new business owner, and we were
Mhm.
in a foreign country, and I was like always just so intrigued and so engaged. I used to love to go to work with him on the weekends and
Oh,
listen to his conversations. And he sold the name of his company was Medici. It was spelled Medici, and
okay.
it was a ceramic Italian tile business.
Okay.
And I was like, I was pulling for him. Like we were struggling like financially. And I would be like, Dad, did you make a sale today? How many sales did you make? And I was like so interested and engaged. And my mom used to help him with some marketing things in his business. And she would like create signs and things of that nature. So I watched the whole thing. Um, and I've always been intrigued. I've like
Mm.
entrepreneurial spirit, like all the way, like, starting from a really young age, businesses in college, like always. I don't take for granted that I'm in this country. So to answer your question of like, how has it impacted me? I really don't take it for granted. And I am so grateful to be here. I have just so much gratitude. People, say some negative things sometimes about the United States, and there's no place that's perfect, right? But you know, we really have it pretty great over here, and I don't take that for granted. That I like now I'm a citizen of this country, and so in terms of like as an entrepreneur, I just want to make a difference. Like I'm so committed to like, making a difference and yeah.
Well, I think you're in an amazing profession to make a difference, right? I think there are many professions that make a difference, and I think being a lawyer happens to be one of them. Um, and that is something that is in your bio, that you want to make a difference, that you want to help people, and I think that's great. I did not know that you were introduced to being an entrepreneur as a child. And I love that when your dad came home, you were like, did you make a sale today? Like, how did it go? Like, so you were invested in this entrepreneur lifestyle from very, very young, which is really neat. Not all immigrants, not all people have that. A lot of business owners just get fed up, or they decide they want to change and they just jump into it, and they, zero experience whatsoever, like never been around it. And so I think that's neat that you from such a young age have been exposed to entrepreneurs, the first one being your dad. I think that's amazing.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about what your law firm does and who you help and how you help them.
So I focus on brand protection at the law firm, and who I help are business owners and entrepreneurs and people that are in executive positions dealing with brands and products. And what I do is, I help them determine what they need to protect, because what I found is people don't really realize. They hear like intellectual property or brand protection, and they don't really know what that means, and they don't really know how it applies to them. Okay. And so I help them determine like what intellectual property assets they have, and then come up with a plan of how to protect it, based on budget that they have or priorities. Strategize what that's going to look like, and then make sure that whatever we protect is safeguarded, because when you have intellectual property, when you have a trademark, for example, a registered trademark, it is incumbent upon the owner of the trademark to police the market and make sure that no other company is using the same or similar, whether it be a name or a logo, to create confusion in the marketplace. And you have to take action if you want to maintain and keep that those assets. And so I love working with people who are entrepreneurs, because I love the spirit, and people who are really passionate and committed to making a difference. They're visionary, they want to make a difference, and they want to make sure that they build their business on a solid foundation. Part of what I do is like really educating people also, so that they understand the importance of taking the action, because so often people don't really understand why that's so important. And that was really why, Carol, that's what inspired me to write my book, was because I was having the same conversations with so many people, and I felt like, I was just like a broken record. It was like, how do I get this information to the people that need to hear it, and package it in a way that, they'll find interesting and actually absorb the information? And that was basically how the book got birthed.
So tell me more about the book. I'm so happy you mentioned it, because I was going to mention it. Tell me about the book. Tell me about
Well,
the book. Tell us
thank you
about the
for
book.
asking. I about a month ago now, I published a book, and the
Mhm.
name of the book is called Why Brand Protection Matters: How to Avoid Costly Mistakes and
Mhm.
Increase the Value of Your Business. And that project, that like aha moment, like where I was saying I was having repetitive conversation, like was about a year and a half ago.
Mm.
And I had met years ago, I met a woman who is a writing coach. And I really liked her, and I always remembered her because in my mind, I knew I always wanted to write a book. I mean, I've had a few book ideas,
Okay.
but when I had this idea to write this book about a year and a half ago, I was like, I'm going to reach out to Ashley. And so I did. And she became my writing coach. And I followed her program. And in 90 days, I had a draft manuscript.
90 days?
90 days.
LA, how in the world did you get a draft manuscript written in 90 days as the owner of a law firm and all of the other things that you do? And like, I mean, you you're a speaker, you're always in the community, you're always out there, you are everywhere. How did you have time to sit in 90 days? That's amazing. That's
Well,
amazing. I
thank
love
you
that.
for that acknowledgement. And when I look back, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I actually did it. Like, whoa. Um, really, it was about commitment,
Okay.
and it was about choice. I knew that to get it done, I was going to have to buckle down. Now, I do
Mm.
work full time during the day, right? And
Same.
when you're writing, at least for me, I like chunks of time. I can't just
Mhm.
have like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, because that's not really productive. So basically, what I decided, the way that I was going to do it, is I was going to spend, like the time in my homework time in this writing program, and I would do it on the weekend. So all day Saturday and all day Sunday, sometimes 12 hours, sometimes longer on each day, I would work on the book. And the truth of the matter is, like, the thought of writing a book was like really like gigantic, like how in the world, like,
Huge.
but when I kind of surrendered. I really, when I hired Ashley and I started her program, I surrendered to what she told me to do. And she was like, if you just do these things and you just do it the way I'm going to tell you how to do it, you will have a manuscript. Now, it's not a polished manuscript. It's still going to go through editing,
Okay.
etc., but a manuscript. And so to answer your question, I think it's just about choice. And I think sometimes, like, when we really like want to accomplish something, we can do anything. I mean, you just have
Mhm.
to decide, are you committed to it? And honestly, I had to, what pulled me forward, because, there's moments where like insecurity set in, like, what am I doing? And
Mhm.
um, what pulled me forward was my vision to make a difference. I mean, it really pulled me forward. Um, like the thought that, okay, I'm going to create something that's really going to make a difference for people.
I like it. I like that. That's
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
So you're in the middle of your law firm world in your law firm life. What prompted you? What inspired you to start your own law firm? Because truthfully, law school in the US doesn't talk about, or at least when we were in law school, didn't really talk about how to start your own law firm, how to be a business owner. That wasn't something that was really focused on in the law school curriculum. So what inspired you to become a lawyer and not only become a lawyer, but to start your own law firm, to start your own business?
Well, becoming a lawyer, like what inspired me again was the making of the difference. But when I was in high school, I took a street law class.
Mm,
And the teacher in that class started a mock trial, like, and entered. There were tryouts to be on a mock trial team, and then that mock trial team competed in the state of Florida.
Okay.
And so I was on that team. We competed in the state of Florida, and we won for the state of Florida and represented Florida and Washington, D.C., and competed nationally. So that was like really like my entree to like being introduced to the law. Um,
Mm.
and I loved it. So, like, I just loved it. I knew that I was going to go to law school. I just knew. So, my undergrad was in business, international finance, and marketing, but I knew that the next step was going to be law school. And what inspired me to have my own firm? Oh, gosh, I think the freedom to create, the freedom to, having worked at several law firms. I had some good experiences and some not so great experiences. And, everything, there's good and bad with everything. And I had seen what worked and I'd seen what, I didn't really think worked so well. And, and there was also this, when you work in a large law firm, there's lots of committees, and it's like you pretty much almost like can't do anything unless you get, like, it's like mother may I, father may I. You need to get approval for almost everything you do. And that was just a little frustrating at times. And so, given my entrepreneurial spirit, I for me it was, I didn't want to go to another law firm. And it was like, I want to
Mm.
build something in a way that I want to do it, like I envision it, with my values. Uh,
Mhm.
and that was really it, and it was at a time in my career where I'd been practicing, I guess if we're talking about 12 years ago, and I'm like almost 28 years. So I'd been
Mhm.
practicing for a while. I had some clients, I had developed a book of clients, and it seemed to me like it was the right time. And because, I guess of my entrepreneurial spirit, like it wasn't so hard for me to figure out. Like I just knew, I just, I talk to people. So here's the other thing that I'm such an advocate for is that if you want to do something, just go talk to people that have done it before, that know how to do
Mhm.
it. Use
Mhm.
experts, don't try and reinvent the wheel. And I didn't try and reinvent the wheel. I talked to people and I was like, okay, so, and I took the guidance, and people were kind and generous, and my very first business, I mean, outside of babysitting, because I mean that was a business too, okay, and I
Yep.
started that one when I was 11, and I was booked, and I had the whole thing going,
I love it. I love it.
they were like, "You're really expensive," and I was like, "Well, I'm in demand," you know,
Yep. There
and
you go.
um, when I was in college, I started a import export business. And
Oh.
I actually had two businesses when I was in college, and that taught me a lot. I learned a lot
Mm.
in the import export business. We made a lot of money quickly, and so I got a taste. And we went out and we rented office space and we bought office furniture, and
Okay.
we like did all these things. And so I learned how to, like, whoa, we like bit off a little bit more than we should have, like, at the time, out of like excitement. So
Mhm.
I made that like mistake like early on. So
Okay.
now when I was going to go out on my own, I was just very prudent in terms of like
Mm.
overhead and how I was going to do it.
That is amazing. That's really amazing that you are able to take those lessons from one being a babysitter, because that is truly a job, and two, that business in college where you now can look back and say, oh, we probably like ran a little too fast, and we purchased too many things, and maybe we didn't need all those things, but still an amazing experience, right?
Totally.
um that's very cool. I did not know that. I did not know that. That's very cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself leveraging your cultural background, leveraging the fact that you didn't grow up here, or sorry, that you weren't born here, leveraging the fact that you're an immigrant. Do you find that you use that, or that it's helpful, or that it shapes how you run your business?
Well, I think it shapes how I run my business, and I think it's useful because it's diversity and it gives me
Hmm.
diverse perspective.
Hmm.
And and just like dealing with people, I think because of my diverse perspective in many ways, one of which having been born in another country,
Hmm.
I think that um, I have a lot more space for things that don't fit in a box, like,
Okay.
so I'm open to diverse things. And I also know that you can't judge a book by its cover. Uh,
Mm.
and, that's something I learned early on, because it's interesting. This is a bit of a diversion, and is sometimes people will look at me and like make all these judgments
Mm.
and about, oh, life must have been really easy, like you grew up like with like a silver spoon in your mouth, and that's like really not the truth,
Mm.
right? And people are, I'm not saying I haven't had the benefits, and but perception, and that has really, I think, shaped a lot of like when I interact with people. One of the things that I hear is like, that I'm kind, or I give people space, or I'm through some of the trainings that I've done, I'm able to, I guess, not take so much personally, maybe. I mean, I
Okay.
think we're maybe diverting a little bit here, because it's not purely just as a result of being an immigrant, but
Sure.
although I think it's a part of it.
Hmm.
But I think in some of the trainings and the work that I've done, um, just being able to be with people like wherever they are in their life in that particular time, and have compassion,
Hmm.
and and not be judgmental. We
Hmm.
all have judgments, so I'm
Sure.
certainly not going to sit here and say I never judge, because I mean, I'm human, right?
Yes, we all are. We are all human.
Yeah.
But I would imagine having to, coming to the US, thinking truly that you were coming on vacation, then turning around and attending a school and a language that you did not know. So you had to learn that language, and just all the things that come with being, a second grader and being different, like you said, because nobody wants to be different when you're in second grade. Those things, I think, shaped how you look at people now, and how you don't judge a book by its cover. Like I've known you for a while now, and I didn't know any of this about you, right? I didn't know any of this about you. It's, to me, it's super fascinating, but I think, maybe that's because I'm an immigration lawyer and I talk with people all day long, my clients who have such diverse backgrounds, that I think that's one of the things that comes out of it when you move to a different country and you've got to learn a new language. You learn to give people their space, because at some point you needed space.
And you learn how to overcome obstacles and adversity,
Yeah.
and roll with it. One of the things that you asked me is like, have I leveraged the fact that I'm from another
Yeah.
country? And I mean, other than just for like, like, I don't think that I have specific, like when I hear the word like leveraged, um, I think about like maybe like advertising, like in a
Okay.
magazine in South Africa or something,
Hmm.
that I'm a South African abroad that can help you if you're immigrating.
Hmm.
And that's maybe a good idea. That's maybe something that I should do, because I haven't specifically done that. I mean, any opportunity I have to share that I come from another country, because people usually say, "Oh my gosh, you don't have an accent. I would never have
Mhm.
known that."
Mhm. That's neat. So, talking a little bit about challenges, what's a significant challenge that you have faced while being a law firm owner and being a business owner?
Oh wow.
Just pick one. I know as a business owner, we've got
Oh
many.
yeah. Probably probably the inconsistency sometimes
Mm,
in revenue. Like
okay.
sometimes it's a lot higher than other times, like the ebb and flow of business. Um, and like trying to like figure that out and work with that. So you could just like build. I think that's probably one of the biggest. There's other challenges, of course, but
Sure.
but but that one I think is probably the biggest one.
Yeah. No, that one's huge sometimes. From one business owner to another, that one is sometimes really big.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, oh my god,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. What's so on the other side of that? Because I think in order to have when we have challenges, when we get to the other side, right? We are running again, like full steam ahead. What's a huge milestone that you've reached in your business ownership that you're super proud of?
Wow. What I would say is my reputation. Like I'm super proud of my reputation. And I don't say that like braggadociously,
Mhm.
I say that because it's so important to me. And I was recently speaking with somebody, who said to me, "I just want you to know that the word on the street is like that, about you." And he like went on to like say a number of praises. And he goes, "And I know you're thinking I'm just saying nice things to you right now, because that's kind of like how my brain works. Like, is he just being nice to me, or is this for real?" um, but I would say absolutely my reputation. The fact that I am respected amongst my peers
Mhm.
is huge. I mean, as lawyers, we're tough. I mean, we are. And the fact that I'm respected amongst the judiciary, I'm respected,
Mhm.
in the community with community leaders, and that just means the world to me.
Nice. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I mean, as lawyers, that's huge, and to be respected not only by your peers but also by the judiciary is pretty big. That's pretty big. What's next for you and your business? What's
Oh
next?
wow.
What's on the horizon?
I have big plans. I have
Good.
big plans. So I'm looking to grow my business. Like I really want to scale,
Okay.
and I'm focusing on how do I use technology to be as efficient as possible.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm looking to create something that's bigger than it currently is,
Okay.
with the end game. And I protect my intellectual property with my own business. And the end game being like to be in a position to be able to sell off my assets, either
Okay.
together or separately
Okay.
down the road.
Neat. Neat. Is there another book in the works?
Well, there isn't one in the works, but I'm toying. There are several that I'm toying with, and
Okay.
I suspect there will be another book or two. Definitely. I'm going to take a little break for now and work on some of the things that I haven't been able to work on while I've been focusing on getting the book published.
Fair.
Um, yeah, and to answer your question, really, what I'd like to see, with the book is spreading the word, so to speak, and
Mhm.
having the opportunity. So I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity to speak with you today, because I really, looking for opportunities where I could speak to entrepreneurs and share, um, and share the information that is so necessary for them to have.
Nice. So the last question I always like to ask people is, what advice do you have for individuals who are immigrants who want to start a business in the U.S.?
Wow. Well, I know there's challenges, with when
Mhm.
you're an immigrant and you want to start a business in the US, because sometimes sometimes there's money and sometimes there's not, and you've got an idea. I think it's a matter of speaking with people and networking yourself,
Okay.
and staying with that vision. Like, if you have a vision to do that, like, it's absolutely doable. It's just a matter of being guided and speaking with people that can put you in the direction, because there's resources available to help. There are,
Mhm.
there's people that will mentor. You've got the SBA, loans and grants and all kinds of stuff that's available. You just need to know how to find it. And so, I say, like really go for it, because it is the thing, like having your own business, like the independence, and really the security that creates in many ways, when you're the one that's like the master of your own ship, and you're not, working for a company where you could be laid off, or some version of that. I'm all for it. Like, do it.
I love it. I love it. All right, LA. How can we, one, find you and the firm online, and how can we find the book? This will all be in the show notes, but tell us as well.
Wonderful. Well, the domain name for the firm is www.brandprotection.law. The phone number is 561-467-4001. And social media also. We've got a Facebook page, we've got a LinkedIn page, Instagram page, all under Perkins Law Brand Protection, as well as a YouTube channel. And what else? The book.
Yeah,
So
the book. Don't forget the book.
yeah, how you can find the book is on, well, it's on Amazon. It's being sold on Amazon,
Okay.
and it's sold on a number of other platforms as well. But Amazon has it, and I'm pleased to say currently it's in 3 formats. It's a digital download. You can get a paperback and a hardcover. And I'm super excited that the audiobook is coming soon.
Nice.
I am going
Nice.
out to California to record it. So that'll be next week.
That's fabulous.
Thank you. So that's coming soon. Yeah.
Love it. I love audiobooks. I listen to audiobooks every day when I run. So that is my jam. I love audiobooks.
Oh, well, great. Wonderful.
Awesome. So LA, thank you for being on the podcast, sharing your story with us, and letting us just see a glimpse of who you are and your background and your entrepreneurial journey, your immigrant journey. And I am blown away by the whole vacation turned permanent. I'm blown away by that. That's amazing. I will never forget that. But thank you, truly, thank you. I know it is hard for some people to open up and share about themselves and talk about their business, and and so I just want to really thank you for being on the podcast. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Carol. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on your podcast, and thank you for inviting me. It's been wonderful talking to you.
No worries. And you and I will talk soon. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Immigrant Entrepreneurs Making It Happen podcast. This is your host, Carol Williams, managing attorney at Williams Immigration, a boutique immigration law firm helping companies and families navigate the U.S. immigration system. To reach me, go to www.clwimmigration.com.